Hey everyone, Dan here. Wanted to take a look at GMBL today. It's an esports company. And before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. And please leave comments below for ideas for tickers that you'd like me to cover. Any other thoughts or questions that you might have, those things help out a ton as well. So GMBL has a pretty interesting chart. We're on the 5-minute right now, just to sort of scope out what you're seeing, and then we can get a little more detailed. This red line would be what I would consider my sort of like cut loss zone of support if I were in the play, which I'm not, but that would be my thought, and I'll sort of like go through why. These are immediate support and resistance zones in the blue. The green is where I think you might be establishing a new level of price strengths if GMBL can get that level at 1801 level as support, and then these would be on the higher end of the resistance points that it'll see if it can get itself up there. And that would obviously lead it pretty close back to $20. So this right here is actually on Friday, I believe. Yeah, it must have been on Friday. A person who I speak with a lot on Twitter had sort of asked me how this is looking, and they were asking me like around this time here, and I had drawn in this flag and basically said, before the end of the day, GMBL is going to flag out, which it did, because the time progressed. So nothing like that magical about that. But what is interesting is it has continued to follow this trend line that was representing support. And so it's nice to see that it continued that up through close and even into the after hours. So we'll see what happens, because it does often have these like sell-offs during after hours, it looks like. And so we'll see sort of how the pre-market looks tomorrow and then where it opens. But if it continues to follow this trend line, that would be a really, really good sign for the bulls in this stock. The reason that I think there's really great support down here at 1631 is obviously it touched there on Friday, but then it's had a few attempts and it wasn't able to fall like significantly below that level. It held a support here, it held a support here and here. So I think it has, quite a bit of good support there. It was briefly resistance here, but that to me isn't enough to kind of think that, the support zone is more down here in the 16 level, though it could be. If it falls through 1631, that's what I would say. Look for it to get caught right at about 16. And if it falls further than that, then, you might be looking at some pain getting into the mid-15s, but that's not what I'm looking for. 1631 is what I'm looking at. And then it has more immediate support at 1747 and 1686. If it can develop up to this 1801, then I think that'll be a pretty challenging zone for it, and that's mostly because of this topping out. It's not actually anything that you see in here. And so I think that'll be challenging, but that would be a really good sign if it can pop above it. Then it has like a real shot at an explosive run, in my opinion. Then it'll be most important that it gets above that 1842, so it doesn't like triple or quadruple top out because of these previous tops. And 1861, which represents some of the price activity in here, and 1896. So it has several resistance points in the $18 to $19 range. So that'll be the first thing to get through. But if it can, I think that then it's going to be looking pretty good. And, we can draw in some additional price zones and targets above once it gets there. So that's what I look at for GMBL on the bull side. One sort of point of caution. So I'm zooming out a lot. So this is way back on the weekly. So like all of this stuff that's happening here was actually July of 2017. So like just know that this draws back some very old price activity. But we have seen consistently like these attempts at like a rise and a big jump up, and every time it's gotten beat down and then has fallen further down. So in other words, it fell down here after this like initial big sell-off, and then it sort of got its footing, and then it tried to do a big push up, but then it sold down and then continued to consolidate back down even more. And then it tried it again and got pushed down even more. So this is the first time that you're actually sort of like reversing that trend, where after it sold off from this little pump, it didn't come down any further than the previous lows here. So this could be the beginnings of a longer trend reversal from this down channel right here, which would be good for the bulls on GMBL. But I would be cautious that it does have a tendency to try really hard to push and get some momentum, but then it loses it very, very quickly. So we'll see if that happens here, because it's this right now doesn't look that different from a lot of these other attempts that have happened. So we'll see, but that'd be the one thing that I would really kind of look out for as you get into it. All right, well, good luck if you're in this one or if you get into this one. I wish you the best, and I will see you all in the next video.